Happy fall! My name is Sammy, and this is my channel, Sammy's Hobbies. I wanted to come to you and talk about my fall knitting plans. I find that my knitting plans change quite often because new patterns come out or I've discovered new yarns, and I didn't know what a make nine was until this year, but I don't think I'm going to be a make nine person. I think I'm gonna be like a seasonal plans person. I think that's more realistic for me, and I won't be like. I mean, maybe I still will be talking about all these projects that I'm never gonna do or I pivot from or whatever. I think we all reserve the right to encounter new information and pivot and change our minds. These are my fall knitting plans. I'm recording this on the first day of fall, so probably I'm gonna try to get it up tomorrow, which would be the 23rd of September. We'll see how it goes. I don't know, but I'm definitely feeling the fall vibes. I'm like fall makeup, fall sweatshirt. It's a beautiful day outside, so I do apologize in advance if you hear like birds or buses or whatever it may be. I do live in the city, and there's squirrels, and there's birds, and buses, and trucks, and construction. So I'll try to like avoid it the best I can, but it's too beautiful of a day to have the windows closed. I'm very excited about fall and the coziness that's coming along with it. I'm excited for it to be soup season. I'm excited for homemade sourdough. I am excited for cardamom baked goods. Oh, you know what else? Like, I haven't had since I was like a kid, but recently they've been like just popping up in my life, and I'm like, yes, thank you. Is like a cinnamon sugar cake donut. As an adult, cake donuts have become my favorite kind of donut. Like, I don't need raised glazed. I don't need a Bismarck. Like, give me a cake donut. There's like the simplicity, but the density. Something about them has just become my favorite thing ever, especially with the coffee. I just went to the bakery the other day and they had cinnamon sugar cake donuts, and I was like, wait, those are so good, and I don't think I've had one in like well over 15 years. I also, this is not knitting related, I'm going to be making a rosemary simple syrup soon because I want rosemary lattes and I want like a rosemary gin cocktail. Oh, so good. But yes, I'm fully leaning into fall. Ironically, I'm not a pumpkin spice girl. I support everyone's right to pumpkin spice. I'm just not like a big pumpkin girl. They're very cute. They're a very cute fruit, plant, vegetable, melon, squash, whatever they are. Aesthetically, beautiful. But I would just rather have other flavored things, personally. Ooh, I also need to start watching Vampire Diaries again. I've been meaning to do that for weeks. That's what I'm going to do when I'm done with this season of Below Deck. I'm almost there. The first couple plans I'm going to talk about, I'm going to go through pretty quickly and get them out of the way. I talked a decent amount about them in my first ever podcast episode. There's cicadas too. If you can't hear that, I don't know. So I'm probably going to fly through the first couple quickly just because I don't want it to be too repetitive. I feel like I'm talking about these projects all the time, but I'll give you the basic rundown. The first project on my fall knitting plans is the Harley vest by Rita Dowd of Limun Crafted. And this is a test knit. It is a 1x1 cabled vest. It's my first test knit ever. And I did have to restart the whole thing because I finished the back panel and realized I was doing it wrong. Not the designer's fault. It was totally like a my fault situation. I'm just like new to cables and was not doing them correctly. I'm almost done with the back panel for the second time. And this is the design. It's just like a 1x1 cable work zigzag. I'm doing like the underarm increases right now. I'm making this in Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino Soft Cognac. And it works perfectly because I'm doing the Oktobervest make along with the botanical knitter. She's hosting it, and people are knitting, they're crocheting, they're sewing all these like gorgeous vests, and it's just kind of fun to be in something community based and see other people's creativity. My second project I also showed last time, and I've made zero progress on it since I last showed this on the podcast. This is the Rosenlund pullover by Sari Nordlund. I'm making it in knitting for Olive Merino in the color Dusty Olive. I've got a lifeline in there. That's distracting. But this is my first ever, technically my first cable project because I cast this on before the vest. But I'm really enjoying it. I struggled at the beginning. I shared about that in the other episode, so I just don't want to repeat myself too badly. The third project is not cast on yet, but I am going to be making the Peregrin socks by Sari Nordlund in this Coast to Coast There's Nobody Buried Under the Rose Bushes colorway from her book Trope collection. I probably will be placing another order with the pre-order that comes out in early October because she just has so many beautiful colors and I only got a couple of them. I'm going to be making these with my best friend, and her life is a little crazy right now, so we're waiting for it to calm down before we cast on. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm very excited. The third project on my fall knitting plans is part of a sheep to sweater class that I'm doing on TikTok. I think her name is Tiny Cabin Knits or Tiny Cabin Crafts. I'll put it here. But she is hosting a sheep to sweater class that I am a part of right now. And so we've had one class so far, and we learned how to skirt and scour our fleece and also how to select them. It was really cool. She was like, if you go to like a wool and sheep show and you're trying to pick out a fleece, like look for these things. This is the etiquette. It was so fun to be out there on her farm and meet the sheep and just like learn so much. And so we washed a little bit of our wool there and took the rest of our fleece home to process on our own. And so mine is currently out in the sun drying off. And I got like this beautiful brown gray color fleece. Actually, I should show you my sample that I already have washed from the day we did our class. Give me just a moment. So this has been skirted and scoured or washed, but it has not been carded yet. So this is my little sample of fleece that I washed in the class. I got this like gray brown color, and you can see like the sunspots and stuff. But sorry, I'm trying to like hold it and keep it in the basket, but I still have you be able to see it. Maybe I'll just hold up a little. I just love the colors that are naturally in here. And so I don't think I'm gonna dye this. I will be learning how to spin it, and I know spinning can be very like humbling. I've never done it before. But depending on how that goes, I think I want to make the Miles shirt jacket by Ozetta. I just think it'll be like so wonderfully cozy and beautiful, and even if the yarn is kind of like wonky, like I'm like how cool. I think that'd be really fun to have it. I don't know, I don't think I'd mind it looking like a little bit handmade, I guess. I don't know how to word it. I think I would like I think it'd be such a cool project to like have and look back on and think like, wow, I made this myself, see how far I've come. We'll see. That's the plan for right now. Subject to change. Really depends on how it goes. And I don't know how soon we'll be spinning just yet. So that one might not get cast on until like much later in the fall. I've had my eye on that pattern for a while, and this just to me seems like if it works together, I'd be so pleased because I have not been able to pick out what kind of yarn I want to use to make that one. The next project that I would like to make, I don't have a yarn picked out for just yet, but I want to make the Bibliophile 3 by Alicia Plummer. I want to make this for my husband, and we talked about colors, and he would like a gray or blue tweedy yarn. He's also like very good with wool. He can sleep with it next to skin. Like we have a big Pendleton blanket. He sleeps with it like every night, like next to skin. And he grew up sleeping on sheepskins out at his grandparents. So he is like, I'm not worried about doing like a superwash or anything. Like I think he will be okay, and he will be wearing a t-shirt on under his sweater anyway. What weight is that one? Let me look. Okay, that is a DK weight sweater. So if you have any recommendations for a tweedy yarn, DK, non-superwash, I would love them. I'm also trying to get a head start on some of my gift knits for the holiday season. We're going to be doing a little traveling, and I want to have my gift knits ready for the time that we are going to be traveling to see some family and friends. So I'm going to be making a few sets of golf club covers. One is going to be for my husband, and he knows, and we picked out like yarn colors together because they are people that he loves to golf with, and I really, really doubt they would ever watch this video. I got Cascade 220. I can't remember if I got Superwash or not. I will insert it along with the colors that I chose to get. I'm going to use the same contrasting, like slightly off-white color for all of them. And I think they'll come together pretty quickly. 3 of each, and for my husband, I might make a 4th one. I know nothing about golf clubs. He told me one that he's like, maybe I would take one for this. So I think it might be the hybrid that I might make an extra one for him. I know I'm going to do the driver, the 3-iron, and the 5-iron. I want to like get a head start on them and see how long they each take me to make, because I would like to have at least 2 sets of them done by like mid-November. So we'll see how that goes. Actually, now that I think about it, the Cascade 220 is supposed to get delivered today, on the day that I'm filming this, but it might not get here till later on, and I wanted to film this while the lighting was good. So I could probably just insert my own photos of the yarns. Psych, the yarn for these projects literally came while I was filming. And so if I look a little bit more disheveled and the lighting changed, I like ran downstairs, grabbed the package, came up, ripped it open, pulled out the yarn, and it's gotten a little cloudier outside, and also people are doing yard work and dogs are barking now. So bear with me. I'm going to insert this in after the fact. For my husband's golf club covers, I'm using Plum Purple. This is the superwash. And then the contrast color for all of them is Ecru. So I just didn't want it to be like a stark white. And then my husband said it gave it like a little bit more of like a vintage look to not have it be a stark white either. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also doing a set in Red Wine Heather. So those 2 together, I think that's going to look really nice. 3rd set is going to be in Ruby and Ecru. And the 4th set is Como Blue. So I think, let me see. I think these are going to be beautiful. I'm very excited. And in that same package is the yarn that is for my other projects. I'm going to be making, for both myself and my husband, a pair of the Doble Tøfler felted slipper socks by Sandnes Garn. And so I ordered Fritted's Garn in the colors Smoke for my husband, so it's like a dark charcoaly gray, and then I got the color Poppy for mine. I really do tend to veer towards a lot of like earth tones, neutrals. Like just like in general. A jewel tone I love. I've also been trying to like get a little outside the box, and I've been like kind of honing in on personal style, especially as I'm getting into more hand knit garments and items, and have a little bit more flexibility to explore. And I do not usually do like I'm not usually a bright color girl. Maybe in makeup sometimes, but in clothing it's not very common. However, I love like a chartreuse, and I love like an orangey red, like an Allison Roman, like clam bake Essie nail polish, orangey red. I think slippers are a super fun place to play around with a color. I work from home. It's cold. It gets cold in my unit, and I think these are gonna be like just so cozy and wonderful to have. I also did get the yarn for the Doble Tøfler socks, so inserting a clip in again here. This is Smoke, so these are going to be my husband's Doble Tøflers. And then this is Poppy, so this is the color that I will be having for mine. It's showing up really bright red on the camera. We'll be so cute together. I'm so excited. So yeah, I wanted to show you those yarns since they showed up a bit earlier than I was expecting. I think I am going to get the leather soles to sew onto the bottom. I live in an upstairs unit of a duplex, and we have painted wooden steps to get up and down. So if we're gonna go grab laundry, mostly if we're gonna go grab laundry. Also, my friends live downstairs, and so multiple times a week I will grab my knitting and like go down into her home and we knit together. And I'm like, yeah, I want to not fall down the stairs. So I do want to put something on the bottom so they're not slippery. So I've seen like quite a few on Etsy that I might buy just to sew onto the bottom. Those I've been very excited about. And I've seen Sarah from Two Pearls in a Pod rave about this pattern and make slipper socks for like all of her family members. And I watched her video showing how she like felted them, and I just am like enamored, and I'm like, I need these. I live in Minnesota. It's cold, and I need this. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but am I? Like, I want these slippers in my life. The last project that I would like to make this fall is, well, I don't know. I need help. I have the yarn. I got this from Circus Tonic Handmade, which is an Australian yarn company, and it is a New Zealand possum wool. So I got this in the color Picante. It is like so soft. Do your own research on New Zealand possum fur, because some people have mixed feelings about it. I don't have mixed feelings about it. To my understanding, possums in New Zealand are invasive. They were brought over during colonization, and have been very harmful to the flora and fauna in New Zealand. And this is like a government initiative to help get rid of possums in that country. And if I'm misspeaking, please let me know. But this is my understanding, and there are very specific guidelines for the industry out of care for these animals. So it's complicated. But I grew up in a family of hunters. I'm married to an Indigenous man. We have a lot of like love and respect for the land and the animals, and also promote sustainability. It's a complicated topic, but so that's my caveat, because I'm like, please don't get mad at me in the comments. And if I'm misinformed, I would love more more insight. But that's my understanding at this point. That being said, this is a very, very soft yarn. The yarn shop that I go to has a sample sweater knit up in this, not this colorway, but this yarn. And my sister-in-law and I could not stop thinking about it. So we went and purchased our own sweater quantities worth of yarn. I have three patterns that I'm considering for this. So the first one would be the Comebackigan by Andrea Mowry. I've not knit a cardigan yet. I think my hesitation is I don't know how I would feel about a cardigan in this color. Like, I think I would like it, but I'm like, or would I rather have this in a pullover type of sweater? That's kind of like, I'm back and forth on that one. I'm also considering the Tomorrow sweater by Alicia Plummer or the Oleander by Audrey Borrego. Of those two, I think I'm more leaning towards the Tomorrow sweater. I could be convinced. In like narrowing down patterns, I've like found additional patterns that I'm like, that I think I need to consider that one. Anyway, so I'm just not quite sure what I want to make with this one yet, and I just have those patterns kind of like mulling around in my brain. I'm really mostly between the Comebackigan and the Tomorrow sweater. Also, the sample pattern we saw of this one was the pattern called for a DK weight yarn. This is a sport weight, or it's classified as a sport weight according to our yarn store, and so it's kind of like airy and flowy, like a little more breathable. So I am open to like DK and sport weight patterns. I think that is all I've got. I mean, that is a very ambitious fall, I think. And we'll see how far I get. I do knit a lot. And I stretch my hands a lot, and you should too, to help avoid injury. I just started knitting garments this year. And so my first sweater I did in like 2 weeks. My second sweater took me 2 months. So I think I'm kind of like figuring out my pacing. I might fly through these or I might like have totally overwhelmed myself. We'll see. Like I said, we like pivot and move forward. I would love to know what you're working on this fall, and what patterns you're drooling over, because I feel like scrolling Ravelry is its own hobby in and of itself. I also need to clean up my favorites list, because if I like think a pattern's cute, I'm just like add to favorites. And over the last like couple months, I've gotten some more information. I also am like, I should look at my patterns for like size inclusivity and sort through my favorites, because there's been a couple patterns I've been like really disappointed with that they're not size inclusive, and maybe while I could still be in that range, I just want to support designers who do prioritize that. I also want to support designers that that I agree with their values. There's been just some murmurings, especially with what's going on right now in the world and in the United States. I really want to use my money and support companies and designers that have similar values to me. I love that Knitting for Olive did their fundraiser for UNICEF and their work in Gaza. I love that the Crayabea has size inclusive patterns and has patterns that include bust shaping. I'm really trying to start sorting through the patterns and designers and companies that do hold similar values to me, and I need to like kind of clear out some that don't. That's just my little spiel, because I think I'd be remiss to not acknowledge the things that are happening in our world right now. I'm not sorry for my little spiel. Thank you so much for watching. I love chatting about knitting. I love chatting about patterns and yarns and learning more from you folks that I like watch your videos. I'm trying to get better about like commenting and liking other people's videos, because I've just been like a serial watcher of knitting podcasts, and then I know it's so beneficial to like and comment, and I just forget, or a lot of times I put it on the TV And then when I'm watching it on the TV, I can't like comment. So then I'm like pulling it up on my phone also. I'm muting it and like commenting. I'm trying to get better at that. Anyways, I'm sorry if the lighting has changed a million times in this video. Appreciate you sticking with me to the end with the buses, the birds, and the cicadas. I hope you are having a beautiful, beautiful start to your fall. It's Gilmore Girls season. It's spooky season. It's time to go to the apple orchard and bring your knitting. Because what more could you really want besides basic human rights? Love you!